Alright, we're back under the sea.
What's the C stand for? Nah, that's terrible.
But yeah, the Monstro, the search ghost enemies that I'm attacking here, they first show up there, and depending on whether you, regardless of whether you go to this world or the other one after Monstro, you'll encounter them here. So,
I'm surprised they
did
that. Just a little.
Yeah, obviously the other world, they fit in a lot better.
Yes. It's funny, both worlds, as I've said, I got horribly lost in, and I really do think it's that room with that water column that will, I believe, pass by in a second. I think what tripped me up is I couldn't see that there was a door behind the water column, so I just assumed that I was doing something wrong.
Yep, so she points out the grotto there, because it is... you know, behind a rock, you don't immediately know that you're supposed to go behind it. Now, I believe that this is unintuitive. I believe that you need to latch onto this dolphin here in order for it to appear in the other area, which is required to progress.
Oh gosh!
Another bit of cryptic nonsense that this world can do.
Yeah, I don't believe I got tripped up by the rock. Which is surprising, honestly. Thank you, what? It sounded like he said Ariel almost.
I think he said thank you, pal.
Ah, yeah, that's more generic and makes sense.
Ah, so we have Ariel's grotto here.
So where did she get this stuff, I wonder?
I mean... I think that the above world and all that stuff still exists here.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, obviously the planet view that we saw in the world map is just like it's that one galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy where it's just some rock encasing a water circle, water sphere.
Right.
But no, there is a surface world and, you know, humans walking around.
Do you visit that ever in the series?
You do see it. Kingdom Hearts 2... So, Kingdom Hearts 1 was made under a lot of restrictions, not only in terms of what Disney was comfortable allowing in this very unproven idea, but also this was very new and they had limited resources and time. And so, you know, they had to very much condense their retelling of the Little Mermaid story here. It seems clear that they... when the series became successful, they wanted to go back and do some of the things that they wanted to do in this first one but couldn't, and that includes giving this story a more proper adaptation, and that's what they kind of did in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay. That makes sense. I saw Sebastian snooping in the background. I have a bad feeling about that.
Yeah, he's like, you know, he's... under orders from King Triton to keep an eye on Ariel.
Well, you better know. Fishes get... I couldn't think of a fish-related term with stitches. Oh, I forgot about the boss fight. Oh, no.
Yeah, it just flashed back to you, didn't it? Not
damn
far
cauldron.
from my favorite boss in this game. All right, so this Ursula's voice here is Pat Carroll, and she is reprising her role from the film.
I feel like nobody else can do her justice. Like, it's amazing. I feel like
you can definitely tell that is her film voice. It's a great performance.
I want to say they got her back for one of those like Disney fire and color and light shows at the park.
Oh, like World of Color?
Yeah. Whatever one was on Tom Sawyer's Island that I believe...
I think that was...
I want to say
Phantasmic?
the dragon... Yeah, Phantasmic. I think that's the one where the dragon burst into flame like it wasn't supposed to. Oh, that one was... Yeah.
Come on.
I remember, I think I went to the opening week of World of Color.
I've always wanted to see it, but I've seldom gone to California Adventure. It's cool. It's just it's hard to justify the price to me.
So for these big guys, when you attack them, they have a tendency to split into like 3 or 4 of the smaller versions of the jellyfish enemies, which can be annoying. I find that blasting them with fire magic tends to just kill them outright.
Oh, nice.
However, splitting them can be more preferable if you're like farming for materials. Although I want to say that killing the big guys has a higher drop rate.
Does the fire spell have any AoE?
I don't believe so, no. That's what spells like Thunder and Blizzard are for.
Right.
It's, I think Fire's main upside is that it fires very fast and hits pretty hard and homes on a little bit. So there's where that shortcut can come in handy. Alright, so I'm going to be in here for a minute, so I wanted to talk a little bit about Ariel's position in the greater series, namely how it's a lot smaller than they had probably originally intended. So, you may notice that thus far we know of 6 of the Princesses of Hearts. They showed Snow White, Cinderella, Aurora, and Belle on the stations at the beginning of the game, leaving 3 slots. We've met Jasmine, and we also know about Alice from Alice in Wonderland. One of these things is not like the others. Alice is typically not thought of as a Disney princess, but Ariel most definitely isn't, yet she is not a Princess of Heart in this game.
Did they never, like, do an expanded, like, oh, there turns out there were more Princesses of Heart kind of thing?
They, as of Kingdom Hearts 3, they're starting to go with a new 7 hearts. Like, the other 7 aren't the Princesses of Heart anymore. They're doing new ones. So that they can pimp some of the new princesses, but they have yet to be important or even fully revealed. We only know a handful of them.
My kingdom for Vanellope to be one of those.
That would be great, but there's a couple of possible reasons as to why Ariel was snubbed. The first explanation is that they couldn't figure out a way to incorporate her losing her legs and being taken by the villains at the end of this story, because already that the whole voice thing and losing and becoming more humanoid is not a part of this adaptation.
I feel like that wouldn't be necessary because, you know, you could either like have her, you know, in stasis via magic where she doesn't necessarily even, you know, have to have a walk cycle.
Yeah, well, she would need to be able to stand up at some point. Otherwise, at one point there would have to be an awkward fish tank for her to hang out in, which would not be ideal.
I'm just trying to picture her, or I'm picturing her like flopping on the ground like a fish, unable to stand upright. Oh man.
The other explanation, and it could be a combination of both of these, was that I think that they had specifically wanted... Oh, and another annoying thing about this dolphin, you can only grab onto him when there's no enemies around, so that can be really annoying. I believe that what they had wanted was for you to go to a princess world and interact with one of the princesses before she's kidnapped early on in the game. And considering, like, you know, I said we still don't know who the 7th princess is,
right.
And 4 of them don't have worlds in this game. There's only 2 left, and I think Aladdin for Agrabah wouldn't really work for an early game world. It works perfect as a mid game world.
I almost wish they would have done Snow White.
Yeah, I think they wanted to save the classic princesses because those worlds don't naturally lead to adventure as much.
That's true.
So basically, they were looking at it as like Atlantica is just not a good choice for an early world given the unconventional gameplay.
Yeah,
like,
that's
imagine coming out of Traverse Town and it's this. That would be just game design-wise, that is a bad idea.
Yeah, that would set a weird precedent.
And so I think they just realized that, hey, you know, Wonderland fits as an early world, and Alice is kind of a sweetheart. That kind of works. You know, she can be a princess of heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit frustrating that it was right there. Like, you know, Ariel's in this game, but she's not one of the princesses of heart. But Alice is. But
weird. She's not a princess.
It's just the way. It's just the way things work with this game. But yeah, we do have to defeat the shark here.
Oh, you do?
I believe so, yes.
I want to say he has a name.
I think it's Gulp.
Ah.
Although that might not be canon, it might be from, like, some sort of interview.
Yeah. When I think of animated sharks, he is not what comes to mind. It's Bruce from Finding Nemo is first, and then Jack Black Shark from Shark Tale. I couldn't tell you what his name is.
Jack Black. Jack Black in Shark Tale, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I want to say it was Donnie, maybe?
I don't remember.
I don't know. I like that movie more than... I feel like once you get past how stupid it is, it's kind of fun.
So yeah, and I believe you can refight the shark, and he tends to drop some decent items when you do.
What is that?
So that is something that will be important later, and I just want to point out that you can examine it, and Sora's just like, huh?
It's a rock.
Here's an exit to this room that is easy to miss, but it's pretty important. Brings us over here.
Oh.
So this is another shortcut that we can take.
It's scalding!
Yeah, so it pushes out this little unconventional chest here, and but it does give you a rare synthesis item for doing so, and I definitely recommend finding that shortcut.
Reminds me of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Thing. What was it? Orichalcos? I don't know.
Yeah, Seal of Orichalcos. Orichalcum is a pretty standard fantasy metal. Alright, let's see what the Crystal Trident does.
Ariel, you've disobeyed me again. I told you not to leave the palace.
Coward Sebastian.
Sees it, doesn't say a word, just immediately blows it up.
Well, at least she didn't destroy everything else. So that's better than the original, technically.
Young man, you're not from another ocean. You're from another world, aren't you?
Huh?
So this is like the first denizen that directly confronts Sora on the nature of other worlds and whatnot.
You may fool Ariel, but you can't fool me. You don't know your dorsal fin from your tail.
Huh.
Yeah, so he's swimming weird.
As the key bearer, you must already know one must not meddle in the affairs of other worlds.
Of course I know that, but...
You have violated this principle. The key bearer shatters peace and brings ruin.
I do wonder where world leaders like Trident are getting this idea that, you know, how do they all know about the Keyblade and that its wielder should stay out of other affairs, and, you know, where's he getting all this information?
I mean, it implies there was some kind of big incident in the past.
I mean, there was, but that was like thousands of years ago.
Oh.
The poor child suffers such deep sorrow.
But I would think that they would have to have, like, you know, a regular, you know, meetings between different world leaders, which is pretty much impossible.
That's
given
true.
the rules established in this game.
Maybe it's like Wall-E, where they went for hundreds of years but kept records of stuff.
Maybe.
What are you talking about?
Oh, so Flotsam and Jetsam here are voiced by Corey Burton, same guy who took over for the doorknob in Wonderland. Originally, they were voiced by Patty Edwards in the film. She died in 1999 from respiratory failure at age 67. She was also the voice of Gozer in the original Ghostbusters.
Oh.
Let me guess. You wish to see other worlds. That shouldn't be too hard. After all, your new friends came from another world.
What?
But they had special help. That mysterious key. Now, cheer up, sweetie. You have something special, too.
So yeah, the prince isn't in the picture. It's just about, you know, wanting to explore different worlds. And she's like, hey, your new friends are from a different world. So that is, you know, they're trying to incorporate Sora, Donald, and Goofy into the story as best as they can.
Yeah. I have a hot take that I feel like if King Triton was smart in the original movie, he would have, like, left Ariel to collect artifacts to try to cultivate that side of it without, like, basically giving her an outlet that way rather than her getting too curious about actually going somewhere. But,
well, I mean, that is what she was doing. She was collecting
exactly.
artifacts,
I'm saying,
like... It didn't...
Yeah. I'm just saying his, like, insane overreaction is borderline what led her to, like, take a huge step with Ursula.
Yeah, I believe that there is some criticism of the original film that essentially Ariel whines and gets what she wants, and
that's not true
Triton,
at all.
Triton is basically being a good father and like setting boundaries, and she oversteps them, and like Triton was right all along. The thing is that regardless of the validity of those criticisms, I think the point is that this is a falling out between father and daughter, and Ursula just manipulated it at the worst possible point. So it's less about either one of them being wrong as much as Ursula being a master manipulator and manipulating people at their worst point. So
yeah.
But yeah, so now it's just about rather than stealing the voice and like putting, I believe the Ursula's plot in the original film was to put Ariel in a position where Triton had no choice but to give up the Trident to save her. In this one, she just is like, "Hey, steal the Trident for me."
It's so conveniently placed behind his chair.
And also, it makes Ariel look really, really irresponsible. You can understand her being like, "Oh, this is harmless. This is just you know, a me thing that I'm doing here." But stealing the Trident for Ursula,
she knows that thing's powerful. It brought the dinosaurs back in an episode of that series nobody watched.
Yeah. So that scene with Triton back at the grotto, that's been flashed back to a couple of times, mostly because it's some of the it's a scene in a Disney world where they are talking about the lore of the Keyblade, stuff that doesn't typically get talked about much. So other games like to refer back to it as a key scene from this game. Yeah. Oh yeah, so right there, Goofy learned hyper healing. In the original localization, that was called Second Wind, but later games called it hyper healing. It means that he will recover from knockout status faster.
Oh, nice.
The Trident is mine at last.
Yeah, only the first game called it Second Wind. Everything else called it hyper healing, so that was an easy localization choice for my mod.
Why not? Aren't you tired of following your dear daddy's orders? Oh, yes. We had a deal, didn't we?
Yeah, so hyper condensed. We just a minute ago we were setting the deal, and now Ursula has the Trident. Like, we skipped over what, 75% of the film?
Pretty much.
What? Why, we have company. I'm afraid you're a little late.
I mean, it was a good assumption that this world's keyhole would be here in the throne room, so I do understand Ursula being like, oh, it's got to be here, and being flabbergasted when it's not.
The Trident.
I'm surprised that she called him
We must
handsome.
get it back.
Come on, let's go.
Then again, he is like pretty shredded for
Wait.
whatever age he is.
Oh, he is
My
ripped.
father is hurt and it's all my fault. I have to stop Ursula.
Oh yeah, that's right. Ariel was out of our party following her swimming out of the grotto. Now she's back.
So about that Trinity,
The white one.
Yeah, it's funny because you don't got legs.
That one, that is the only Trinity in this world, and it's because the animation for it, they were able to... They did have to change it to make it exclusive to this world, but it does work. It's not a... The blue ones are the Trinity jump.
Right.
White Trinity is one we'll see much later. But yeah, this is another thing with Atlantica. It's similar to Deep Jungle, where you just sort of have to be going back and forth to a bunch of areas.
Love that.
Yeah, but it's kind of worse here in Atlantica because the level design is so oddly laid out, and I don't know. It's at least there's fewer rooms than in Deep Jungle. I feel like.
Speaking of design, I've been staring at the matte painting of the palace, trying really hard to see if it has that funny little quirk from the VHS that was infamous.
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't know if that ever had any real validity. Probably not.
I'm not sure. But yeah, so these guys, I believe these are tank divers.
I don't like them.
Yeah, if you can hit them with a gravity, it does a lot of damage. The main thing is right there, I got a lightning gem. These guys are... Lightning gems are likely going to be one of those synthesis items if you're going for everything that you're going to be really short on, because, like, I think that only enemies in this world drop them, and the drop rate isn't high. So you might find yourself trying to farm those guys a lot in the end game.
Yeah. Now, I died to this boss a ton, but the thought just occurred to me. Because this is all post-recording, did you have any deaths, or were you able to just kind of tear through this thing?
I didn't have too much trouble. I tried not to cut out deaths, but sometimes, like, the pacing just didn't really allow for that, so you may notice that my death count at the end of the game is a little higher than what you can see.
Oh, it actually counts it somewhere?
Yeah, I believe it was Final Mix that with the Proud mode introduced, or maybe it's also in the standard mode, it introduced the battle report, which became a Kingdom Hearts staple. At the end of the game, it'll show you a bunch of random stats for, like, how long you played, maybe how far you walked, how many times you healed.
How many times Donald gave you a potion when you were already completely full up on health?
Oh, yes, we'll be seeing that a lot later. It's usually you cast a cure, and then Donald does it at the same time, so it was wasted.
Well, Sebastian, you may have betrayed our trust, but this doesn't even begin to make up for it.
Yeah, figuring out how to get to here can be kind of kind of confusing. You know, you have to go all the way. You have to know to go all the way from the palace back to the sunken ship, and then trigger that one thing. Fortunately, there is a save point in here.
My guess is it's in that shell. So it's funny. I just realized that this room and what is it, like the scars, like weird. I don't know what those were supposed to be in The Lion King, but kind of a similar parallel now that I think about it. Seriously, what was that? Like a volcano?
I'm not sure. I haven't watched The Lion King in a long time.
Oh, yeah. My family's
I'm not even sure I have
do
a mental image.
Our my brother has a Boss sound system, so we've been dying to watch it on that.
So, because this upcoming boss battle is so magic focused, I switched around my stuff to give me more magic to work with. So you actually get to see me use Spellbinder.
Yay!
Spellbinder otherwise doesn't see much usage. I feel like it's a little underpowered for when you get it in the game, even though it does give you an extra MP.
Oh, it gives you an extra pip?
Yeah. Because in order for it would have to in order for this to be a magic-focused Keyblade, because in this game, your max MP amount was also determined your magic strength.
Oh, they really captured how scary those were to me as a kid. Those weird little thingies.
Yeah.
time has come!
Why did they suddenly get scared?
She gave him a look.
Alright, so this is definitely not the best boss ever.
Yeah, I believe that I think I had to ask you what I was doing wrong.
I think I may have looked up some stuff on it after I did this recording. Basically, you fire magic spells into the cauldron, and it should just be fire or blizzard because that's the cheapest ones, and I don't think the quality of magic really matters.
Yeah, I just beat up on Ursula for like far too long.
It's like you have to hit, you have to shoot like 4 spells in there, and then it will stun Ursula just like that. But I swear I've launched like, a dozen spells in there, and like it's hard to determine when you're allowed to and when you aren't, or if that's even what's going on.
It was extremely finicky when I did it.
And then when it does, you hit her as hard as you can. Flotsam and Jetsam will get in your way, and you can whack them, and that can actually be very helpful because each time you hit something, you get a little MP back.
I think I had to farm magic off of them.
Now, I believe it will be shown in this boss fight that I did that I believe this fight does take mercy on you. If you stun Ursula enough times and still haven't killed her, it'll just be like, oh, okay, this stun, she just dies.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Yeah, because you'll see that at one, I do the thing one time and she still has plenty of health, but the boss fight decides to end.
I mean, it makes sense considering this is like, well, this isn't it.
I want to say that they were probably playtesting and realized that minor differences in people's builds could have a huge impact on how long this boss fight goes on, and I guess they wanted to try to make it less variable.
Yeah. This boss fight and the boss fight for the other nearby world also have a lot in common, and how much I feel like it wastes your gosh dang time.
Yeah, there's a lot of start and stop in especially Kingdom Hearts 1 boss fights where you're just sort of sitting there waiting for bosses to finish their attack patterns so you can be allowed to hit them.
Make sure Aaron Hansen never plays this. That was a stupid joke.
Yeah, I want to say that even if later games did use that pattern a lot, I think they tried to make it so that the periods where you couldn't attack enemies were a lot shorter and there was a lot less waiting around.
It's kind
or
of
at the very least that you were doing something more during the waiting periods.
That's what I like about Donkey Kong Jungle Beat's bosses. Like, I like a game where if you know what you're doing, you can break through a defense. It's like, you gotta know what you're doing now. And I like that kind of stuff, but I don't see that a lot.
Mario Odyssey figured out that Mario games had a lot of those problems and were like, hey, with all the brutals, because you'll be fighting them multiple times, there's usually a way that you can hit them earlier if you're good.
Yeah. Their design was... I did not care for their designs. Well,
yeah.
Maybe the one that had, like, explicitly a weird Bowser-looking muzzle face. I think that was the one I just really was like, ugh. Too cool.
I wouldn't say that they are my absolute favorite characters, but
they were. At least it was something new.
Yeah, it was. Definitely appreciate that. Now, the color of the cauldron here, I don't, even though I'm kind of trying to do that here, I don't think that red means shoot fire into it and blue means shoot blizzard into it. I think the red or blue in the cauldron just means what spell she's going to be flinging at you, and you can fire whatever you want in there.
Oh, I thought it was like levels of it overflowing. So
No, the color of the liquid in there is just what's coming at you.
Word to the wise, game developers. Have at least 5 different voice bites if you're gonna do that with your boss.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those sound clips that lives rent-free in a Kingdom Hearts fan's head. It's like, oh, jeez, how many times do I have to listen to this?
Yeah, like, if there's one thing that I wish other games would do that Axiom Verge did, is the low health beeping eventually fades out. And I wish games would do that kind of stuff, because, like, oh, man.
Zelda eventually figured that out.
Oh, it did? Oh.
Yeah, I want to say that there was just a point in a game where they were like, oh yeah, it does it for a little bit and then it fades out, and then every later game after that did it. I don't remember exactly which one it was.
Oh,
yep, right there.
Yay! Ugh, squishy.
Oh, I guess Flotsam and Jetsam are just dead.
You'll pay for this.
It's funny because in the original in the movie, their deaths, yeah, was probably one of the more gruesome Disney deaths that I remember.
I'm trying to remember that.
Basically,
it wasn't that long ago that I watched.
She hits them by, I think it's she either accidentally hits them with Triton's Trident blast, or it gets deflected into them, or they like do a bodyguard jump in the way of it. Either way, it's just like, oh man, it's pretty bad.
So we have our second shared ability, Mermaid Kick, which I don't really like and tend to turn off when I revisit this world because it's very easy to accidentally trigger it.
Is it just swim fast?
Real quick, there's a hidden chest in here, so there's that sea urchin that was hiding. If you leave and immediately come back, then the sea urchin will be floating. You can cast fire on it, and it causes this shell to open.
Okay.
Unnecessarily cryptic. I don't know why the sea urchin doesn't just immediately pop out, because I've sat there firing fire at it before.
Did you take damage when it exploded?
I think I did a little.
Ah.
But, so the problem with Mermaid Kick is that in order to trigger it, you have to basically double tap either circle or square, which are our ascend and descend. So if you're trying to do like some minor adjustments to your height, you'll accidentally trigger it and suddenly rocket off, and it's hard to sort of slow yourself. It can be nice to travel long distances, and it has some applications in the upcoming boss fight, but when I'm just moving around, I tend to turn it off.
If you could have, like, rebound it, how would you do it?
Probably to a trigger. Kingdom Hearts, since in the original game, the camera was on L2 and R2, those buttons don't really do anything in this game, and I think that you could solve a couple of problems by utilizing them.
What happens if you hold down the ascend and descend button? Do you just continually go up or down?
Yeah.
Okay. So that one.
And that works. It's just that you have to remember to not make micro adjustments to your height, which I want to say might have happened right there.
Like, I like from a narrative standpoint that Sora's getting his sea legs.
So yeah, you need, that's the only part where you need Mermaid Kick to be able to go against the current and go here where we have our final confrontation.
Into deep water where you find the butt.
You made me ink.
Oh no! She's getting even more morbidly obese! I should see if anybody's drawn the Little Mermaid cast as Splatoon characters.
That's kind of cool. So, this is one of the oddly iconic bosses of this game, I would say, because the very large, detailed, well-animated Ursula head must have been very impressive back in 2002.
Oh, yeah. You know, I incorrectly remembered you, like, getting your legs and doing this on a ship, like Prince Eric style. But I think I'm thinking of Skyward Sword.
Possibly. Like I said, this is an oddly iconic boss fight, and they actually kind of bring it back in the intro to Dream Drop Distance.
Aw.
Yeah, just randomly, the beginning of that game is a boss fight against Ursula. And so you might have seen some footage from Dream Drop for that memory you have. So until... Oh, yeah. She's got some pretty good quotes. So until this playthrough, when I was looking up information, I didn't realize that you're supposed to mermaid kick away from her inhaling water there. I always just was like, oh, she just chomps you, and that's just what happens.
You know, I'm getting Andros vibes almost. But I guess a giant head will do that.
Yeah. Also, her eyes are programmed to follow you whenever you're on screen, so it does have a decent effect, but sometimes the eyes can get a little confused, and so she turned cross-eyed or something. Got a lazy eye. Also, ordinarily in the past I would use arrow magic pretty heavily here because I'm getting hit constantly, but I believe that if you have arrow magic active, all of these thunderbolts that are coming around will be much bigger and more powerful.
Oh.
So I intentionally don't do that here, and I have to heal a lot.
So it makes the fight harder. That's interesting.
Which I'm not a big fan of. Using defensive magic makes things worse.
Well, yeah, that
what
defeats
are you
the
teaching
purpose.
me? But if you are having trouble with this boss, equipping thunder-resistant equipment like thunder rings should help, because so much of the damage is thunder elemental.
I mean, being able to, like, avoid these attacks looks almost arbitrary.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's even possible to do this damageless. I mean, I'm sure
Somebody
it is, but
must have, but yeah, it doesn't look like a good time.
level 1 runs are very popular for Kingdom Hearts. So I'm sure that for those, a single hit is enough to kill you. But I would not have a whole lot of fun doing this.
No. So it's funny, in deleted scenes or an earlier script, there's an implication that Ursula is Triton's like sister, and she used to live in the palace. And I wonder what they were thinking on that line. Although I think maybe at the time she wasn't half octopus. I don't know, like, alternate scripts for movies are always interesting.
Yes, early ideas that they moved on from and realized were a bad idea.
And then sometimes you're like, oh, I wish they kept this idea, but that's just how it goes.
Yeah, you can see just how much I'm having to heal during this fight. Honestly, using arrow magic might honestly be better, just because while the thunder does hit harder, it might just balance out with how much each hit is being taken off. I don't know.
When do you get Iraga? Or whatever the second level's called.
Aurora, let's see, 2 worlds from now we get the second tier, and then the third tier is a reward for collecting most, if not all, of the puppies.
Yeah, because this is one where I might, like, hold off and come back when I'm way over leveled. If I were to play through the game again.
Yeah, leaving after the first boss fight against Ursula and leaving this one for later might be a good strategy.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yeah, because this world is completely optional. But it does mean that you don't get this Keyblade, which is a decent one. So there is some reconciliation here, and we
Yeah.
could talk forever about who's right and who's over-apologizing, but it's all fine.
He's a lot more tolerable in this. Like, I will say, wrecking all her stuff was kind of... It's not the worst thing a Disney dad has ever done. That goes to Buck Cluck. But,
Yeah.
oh, man. Oh, that would be...
Yeah,
man.
I don't think he needed to destroy the Crystal Trident. He could have just ripped it out of there.
Yeah, but still, like, that
taken
that makes
it.
sense, though. Like, I get why he did that. But, man, a Chicken Little Kingdom Hearts world would be... Oh, man, you could do some terrible things with that one.
It'll never happen.
It will never happen.
And yet, Chicken Little has been represented in Kingdom Hearts before.
Huh. Ooh, Thundara. I guess that makes sense. You just beat somebody who was shooting lightning at you the whole time.
Mm-hmm. So we have Ansem's Report 2, which I'll read out once we get there, but we also got Thundara, which is nice.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen the Keyhole yet.
We have not. He just, I believe he just explained that it's back at Ariel's Grotto, and
Right.
even though the Crystal Trident was destroyed, the regular Trident can also do it.
Right.
Ah, yes, got my third accessory slot, which is a big deal.
Whoa. Is that how many? Is that the max amount?
Yep, alright. The shadows that crawl beneath the castle, are they the people who lost their hearts or incarnations of darkness, or something entirely beyond imagination? All my knowledge has provided no answer. One thing I am sure of is that they are entirely devoid of emotion. Perhaps further study will unlock the mysteries of the heart. Fortunately, there is no shortage of test samples. They are multiplying underground even as I write this report. They still need a name. Those who lack hearts. I will call them the Heartless. So it seems as though Ansem discovered a bunch of Heartless underneath his castle and is studying them. And this game also implies that he was the one to name them the Heartless, which might make sense within the greater canon, although they might have retconned that.
Yeah, because, like, doesn't Union Cross take place before Ansem or something?
Yes, but Union Cross also involves peering into the future, so they might have taken the name from that.
You know, if there's one thing this game... Actually, yeah, this game lacks a considerable amount of just NPCs you can talk to. Which, you know,
Yeah.
is fair. But
That's a thing. Maybe I talked about this in Kingdom in an earlier part, but Kingdom Hearts for the longest time had a problem where they couldn't really use a lot of NPCs for things. Like, just making them, I guess, was too labor intensive, and so you would have a lot of scenes where there's supposed to be a crowd there, but there's just no crowd there. You just hear like cheers.
yeah, I'm sure it was a budget thing.
Kingdom Hearts 3 finally addressed that, and now areas feel like populated and alive. And there are plenty of people to talk to, generally, where appropriate. Because, like, Olympus Coliseum suffers from that. There are times where there's supposedly a crowd watching the fights, and it's empty.
This is a weird
Birth
Keyhole
by Sleep had that problem a lot. Yeah.
because it's like in 3D space as opposed to like against the wall.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the idea was for that. I would have just put it on the ground.
Yeah.
What's it like?
Oh, about that. Sorry for lying to you.
It's okay. Besides, if you can travel to other worlds, maybe I can too.
She technically kind of does.
Yeah, I
eventually.
like that.
See, I know I'll get there someday.
She's a summon in Kingdom Hearts 3.
I'll find a way, somehow. I'm sure of it.
So yeah, she does eventually get to see other worlds, although it's dependent on you actually summoning her.
That's true.
Do me a favor and leave me out of it.
Ha 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 ha.
Nobody likes you, Sebastian. You're a
Well,
suck up.
give him some credit. They didn't do everybody laughs. I had to do that.
And
Yeah,
yet,
there's-
the Keyblade is Crab Claw, so... Huh. Oh, there it is. Oh, I like that
So yeah,
design.
it gives you a little boost in MP and some decent attack stats. So it's in a lot of ways it's Spellbinder, but better.
Much like Evolution, the Keyblade eventually became Crab.
And fortunately, after you seal a keyhole until you leave, Heartless don't appear, so we have a pretty smooth ride over to the nearest save point, which I think that they could have put a save point in the grotto.
Yeah,
and
I'm
it would have been
actually
fine.
shocked now that you point that out.
Yeah, they really should have put one in. I do try to talk to NPCs when I can, but sometimes I just forget.
I'm killed everything and put bricks inside her.
I want to talk to Sebastian.
It's like punching Toad.
We end this world with some awkward swimming controls. How appropriate.
I guess you could use some seaweed. Okay, that's not funny.
But yeah, due to the nature of this world, not really gelling with a lot of other abilities, we won't be coming back to it much. We will at least once, no, twice, but a lot less than other worlds.
I guess you gotta get that Trinity.
Mm-hmm. And then there is the Pink Agaricus that I talked about before. Alright, so I got our newest version of the gummy ship for our trip to the next world. We will see you next time.